What is this place?
It's called a department store.
It's beautiful.
Imagine your favorite department store. Now imagine everything you can buy there. In one section, you can find new pillows to decorate your room. In another, a new outfit complete with shoes and accessories. And in another, you can find a television. Now imagine life before department stores. Life in which you had to travel to a different store for each item you want to buy. One store for a dress, one store for a hat, another for shoes, and so on. Or you might have a local store that stocked the basics you need, but none of the new, innovative things you want. Now imagine making a purchase. You hand over your credit card, the cashier scans your items, swipes the card, you sign the receipt, and walk off with your purchases. But what if the item didn't have a price tag? Instead, you have to barter with the shopkeeper until you think you've reached a fair deal, although it may not be as good a deal as you think. Or say the item didn't fit, but the shopkeeper refused to take it back. Imagine life with no advertising, no big one-day sales, no Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. All of these innovations and more are the result of one major development that came around in the late 19th century, the department store. The idea of a department store, or a large store stocking many varieties of goods in one department, is a relatively new idea. It is unknown which store was the first, but it was most likely Bon Marché in Paris. Founded in 1838 by Aristide Bouquiat, this store was the inspiration for most American department stores. Department stores came about for a number of reasons. Many of these big stores began as dry goods stores, where textiles and ready-to-wear clothing were sold. Others began as peddlers or street vendors, or owners of smaller general stores. Even in the beginning, these stores employed the same basic principles: one fair, clearly marked price, courtesy to customers, and a money-back guarantee. In America, the first department store was most likely Alexander T. Stewart's Marble Palace in New York City. There he sold high-quality merchandise to all types of people, including Mary Todd Lincoln, using unique principles compared to the other merchants of his time. He instituted the one-price system in America, eliminating haggling and bartering, and was renowned for his generosity and courtesy to customers. He told his employees to never cheat a customer, even if you can. You must make her happy so she will come back again. His 5-story cast-iron store on Broadway was an innovation in itself, taking up an entire city block and having the first full-length mirrors in America. Another important merchant in this time was R.H. Macy. His New York store is the biggest and still most influential department store in the U.S. today. His store was founded on the ideas to sell at fixed, marked prices, to sell for less than other stores, to buy and sell for cash, and to advertise vigorously. All of these principles are still in place today, aside from the cash policy, which was abandoned in 1939. Macy believed strongly in advertising. He spent 3% of his profits on advertisements he created himself, 3 times more than the competition. His was the first store to employ a woman, Margaret Getschel, in a high position, as an advertising executive in 1866. It is nearly impossible to talk about department stores without mentioning John Wanamaker. A devout Christian from Philadelphia, he is credited with the invention of the price tag and publishing the first ever copyrighted department store ad, exhibiting truth in advertising and permanently gaining the public's trust. He served as Postmaster General, where he helped to create the mail order business, spreading department store ideas and products to all corners of the nation through people like Richard Sears. As Adam Gopnik said in his article, Under One Roof, Wanamaker transformed the department store from a place where women bought stuff to a place where they simply and necessarily went. His store became a Philadelphia icon, boasting the world's biggest pipe organ in his famous Grand Depot. Here's part of an interview with writer Adam Gopnik.
And in the grand days of the department store, what did it mean? It wasn't just a place that you went to buy something. It meant more than that.
Most people give John Wanamaker, in fact, credit for having seen that one of the things that would bring people in, create foot traffic, was if you turned the department store into something that didn't seem to be selling, a place that would have a grand court, the Eagle and the Philadelphia Wanamakers, where generations of people met.
Every time that you open up a newspaper or turn on the television, you are bombarded with advertisements. Before the rise of department stores, there was little advertising in the world, and the little that existed remained simple, dull, and not always truthful. But thanks to merchants like John Wanamaker, Marshall Field, Adam Gimbel, William Henry Belk, and R.H. Macy, the advertising business was given new life. Gone were the plain white advertisements crammed with information, replaced by catchy pictures and phrases like, "Does Macy's tell Gimbels?" and symbols like the red star that gained the public's trust. Another way that these stores advertised was through window displays. It began as merely a way to display new products, but soon developed into an art form, with experts designing windows that would make people think, capturing the attention and the wallets of passerby even today. Here are some examples of department store advertisements.
We have clothing store for kids to
day, growing up in every way.
Be on the lookout for Billy the Kid at Macy's and Bamberger's.
It's Ames' big back-to-school one-day sale with 10 to 70% off throughout the store. Every department, every aisle. Thursday only at Ames.
This is Macy.
Everything's better at Macy's. We're known as the quality store. Hey!
From Macy's in New York City, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Where did you get such a lovely outfit?
Here at Macy's.
Yes, I found a lot of cute things at Macy's.
Good.
I saw her in Macy's, and she told me that she'd love to do it.
The nation's biggest department store.
That's the magic of Macy's.
Department stores were more than just places of commerce in the early 20th century. They were places of culture. A typical big city department store catered to your every need, however outlandish it may have been. In just one store, you could see an art exhibition, go to the doctor, learn to cook, sew, or drive, see Santa, and witness magnificent feats of architecture and wealth and technologies such as the Wanamaker organ or the first elevators. In fact, museums would look to the department stores when thinking up new exhibits. Department stores became landmarks in the big cities, and people flocked to them daily. When electricity was first invented, many of these big store owners took advantage of it and were the first with telephones, light bulbs, and cash registers installed in their stores. These merchants took the store away from its previously commercial role and made it into a center of education, culture, and prosperity. Here's some footage from a Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in 1960.
Conducted to town by an assortment of clowns and floats that sets the mood for the holiday season.
Department stores in history were famed for their courtesy to customers and their excessive generosity. Marshall Field coined the term "give the lady what she wants" after he witnessed a customer and employee arguing over an item. In opening the first department store restaurant, the Crystal Tea Room, John Wanamaker said, "Have only the best mince pies that money will buy, even if you have to sell at a loss." This kind of courtesy and generous treatment of customers is not seen in the same way today as it was during the early 20th century. Department stores were able to gain the trust of the public, assuring that customers would get their money worth, that the prices were fair, the products were of good quality, and they could get a full refund if necessary. As Adam Gopnik said, the department store did it uniquely, by appealing to the customer's sense of trust, to a long cycle of safety. Everything can be found, and everything can be returned. Here Adam Gopnik describes the department store's relationship with the customer.
I think it's something enormous has been lost. Department stores, I think, are, apart from being shopping places, are institutions of trust. You know, before the department store was invented, most shopping in America was done through barter. You didn't know exactly what you were getting. You didn't even know what it would cost. A department store is one of the central institutions of trust in urban culture.
Around World War II, another innovation in consumerism came about, the shopping mall. These malls began based around the same idea as department stores, to have all kinds of products under one roof, although they contained many different independently owned boutiques. Consumers soon began to migrate to malls, or supercenters like Walmart and Target, and away from department stores, eventually leading to the department store's decline. Although department stores are still in existence today, they are in no way as prominent or as influential on American culture as they once were. However, thanks to this great innovation, the American shopping experience has changed forever, replacing bartering with one fixed price in the price tag, plain, inaccurate advertisements with exciting, truthful ones, developing a whole new industry for advertising, and using all types of gimmicks and events to change shopping from a chore into a delightful experience for those in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Today, our shopping experience has begun to revert back to the way it was before department stores, where the main interest is commercial gain. As Wendy Wasserstein says, concerning discount department stores, yes, it's important to have bargains, but if these stores are going to change the city, they should at least make it memorable, which is exactly what department stores managed to do in their prime.
The department store, in a sense, was a kind of a cathedral of a certain kind of American materialism, with greed on the one hand and with need on the other hand, cunningly disguised. So you weren't experiencing greed and need, you were experiencing something that looked like home.